Hello everyone, and welcome to NSTA Web Seminars, where you can find live interactive learning at your desktop. Today's seminar is entitled Using NSTA as Your Online Textbook with Pre-Service Teachers. Our presenter is Flavio Mendez. My name is Don Boonstra, and I will be moderating today's program and also providing tech support if you need help. So let's get started with our introduction. Tonight's speaker is Flavio Mendez, Assistant Executive Director of the NSTA Learning Center. His email is right there on the screen. You may want to copy that down because I'm sure you're going to want to be in contact with Flavio. Flavio, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Don, and hello everyone, and welcome to this program. I'm Flavio Mendez, and I work at NSTA, and I'm joined here by my colleagues Don Boonstra, who's joining us from just outside Phoenix, Arizona, and Megan Doty, the e-learning engagement specialist at NSTA. We're really excited to be here. We had close to 30 individuals register for the opportunity. As it is the nature of seminars, some individuals choose to watch this archive. So hello everyone who is watching this program as an archive. We're glad to have you here, Lori, Paul, and Teresa, all three professors. Had a pleasure to meet Teresa at the New Orleans NSTA conference a couple of weeks ago. Paul, we just met here on the chat. He's joining us from Illinois. And Lori, I believe we have email back and forth. Lori, are you in Hawaii? Let us know on the chat window. It's a pleasure to have you here. So my job here tonight is, or today, this afternoon, is to share with you what I know about the NSTA Learning Center and how professors are using these resources within NSTA and the Learning Center portal to reach out to pre-service teachers. Give them a little bit of exposure to NSTA, the association, the Professional Association for Science Teachers, and exposing them to the resources available as well. And all of that purposely to also integrate and cover the different areas that you are choosing to teach in your courses. So here's our agenda for this afternoon. We'll go over the opportunity. We'll define it for you. Since the Learning Center is not a textbook, what do we mean by using it like a textbook, and what are the mechanisms? How does all this work? We'll do a brief overview, and we will send you to the NSTA Learning Center so that you can spend 3 to 5 minutes exploring a few areas. We'll point to you some areas that we think are perhaps more relevant for this program today. We'll talk about the benefits and the cost to the students. The university students, as part of this opportunity, will pay a fee to NSTA to access behind-the-counter resources. It's an awesome deal. It's exclusive in that it's only available to students because you make the choice of following this opportunity. And we'll ask you, I guess encourage you to get started today. Now, there's zero risk and no commitment made by getting your class landing page created. However, there's a benefit to that in that by you creating a class landing page, and we'll give you time to do that, it's a 30-second to a 1-minute process, you will have a chance then to join your own class. We can basically give you a free pass so that you can start reviewing resources and consider if this is something that you'd like to try for your students in the spring, in the summer, and the fall semesters in 2018. And we'll answer questions, of course, along the way. So first of all, defining this opportunity. I did mention that it's an exclusive opportunity in that this product, this service that NSTA is offering through you to your students is only available because you make the choice. NSTA's Learning Center subscriptions are not sold to individuals. And so only groups, in this case, you as the leader of your group and your class, can participate if you do it together. So let's go through these bullets real quick. This opportunity, basically professors choose to use NSTA resources and the Learning Center as the textbook. is not a traditional textbook in that it doesn't have a table of contents, but it has a wealth of resources, professional learning tools, forums. It's all about an online community, and we'll give you examples on how other professors are using the system to make it a lot more concrete. The Learning Center subscription becomes free to you by your willingness to use this opportunity. So as long as you decide to use it and you make that requirement of your students to contact NSTA for the exchange of payment, etc., then you receive the free subscription. And you have that free subscription basically semester after semester as long as you continue using our services for your courses. Professors create a landing page, and that's what we'd like you to do today as a product, as a deliverable for this program. The landing page is basically putting in some information about the course. You get a private forum for your class. You also get a landing page that is branded, so we add a banner from your university to the page so that students feel right at home when they are in the Learning Center. When the students use the Learning Center, they're purchasing what we call a class bundle. And we call it a bundle because it's a two products in one. They're buying NSTA membership at the student level, and they're buying a Learning Center subscription, which I mentioned is not sold to individuals. So this is the only way they can get this product. The Learning Center membership, the NSTA membership is similar to the traditional membership that maybe you are using now, or maybe that you had in the past as a member of NSTA, but is priced at a student discount. Finally, and I think what makes professors seriously consider this option is the fact that not only are students completing assignments for you as you integrate your syllabus and use the Learning Center for purposely in your course and assignments, but the students are being exposed to NSTA membership and the Learning Center tools and resources that they can use for life. And so while the Learning Center is a resource and it's a tool that most teachers discover after they have started their professional career as teachers, we are giving an opportunity, you are giving your students an opportunity to learn to use this resource for professional learning early on, which will give them an advantage in the workforce as they seek opportunities within your states or outside your state as they look for teaching jobs. So the first thing we like to do is, well, if you've never been to the NSTA Learning Center before, this is what the home page looks like. And if you notice right at the top of the page, you see my name because on this slide I'm logged in, and that's what the Learning Center is all about, is personalized professional learning for K-12 educators. We're going to place the NSTA Learning Center URL here in a moment on the chat window. We're going to ask you that you click on it. We like to highlight a few buttons here from our navigational buttons that we recommend that you visit in the next few minutes. The Explore All Resources button is our search page. This is where individuals go to find resources to enhance their content and pedagogical knowledge. The Learning Center is all about professional learning for adults. This is not a place where we send our K-12 students. And so adults like us and the students who you're teaching will come here to refresh or learn for the first time content and pedagogy. Another area that you may want to visit while you're in the Learning Center exploration mode is the Learning Tools area. There's a learning plan, there's a professional development indexer, which basically recommends resources depending on your knowledge of 25 different content areas. There's a forums area. This is asynchronous forums. We have 14 forums for users of the Learning Center to exchange ideas and questions, etc., which in the context of your course may be a place for your students to ask questions to teachers, not only in their state but outside their state as they work through their different assignments and experiences as part of your course at the university. And finally, maybe take a look at the library area. The library area stores your resources. You add resources to your library that you like to own, and then once they're there, you have them there for life. A couple of other areas to check on in the next few minutes will be the help area, the help page. There's some very useful how-to videos that can help you and your students learn how to do some of the and use some of the features of the Learning Center. And finally, do visit and maybe even bookmark the college and university professors link at the top of the page. So Don has added the Learning Center homepage there. Click on that link on the chat window. Don, if we can start a timer for about 5 minutes, I'll go silent and allow our professors here to explore different areas of the Learning Center, and we'll come back and take some questions.
Okay, the timer is set for 5 minutes. Please click on the Learning Center URL and go and investigate. Well, that little bell is indicating that our 5 minutes are up. If you could come back to Blackboard Collaborate, and I'll turn it back to you, Flavio.
Well, thanks, Don, and thanks everyone for taking a chance to look around. I wonder if you had any initial impressions of the portal and resources, especially if this is your first time visiting. But if it's not your first time, anything that you can share that will be of interest to NSTA team and maybe to others. So just take a moment and type on the chat window. Thank you, Teresa and Lori. Teresa says the amount of free items for members is impressive. Yeah, that's true. Membership adds another level of, or another layer basically of free items to NSTA members, and that is all journal articles, all science objects become free to members. But even membership doesn't give you access to the SciPacks, which we'll explain later today, and also ebook chapters. Lori asks, how often do you assign material from the library collections? You know, as you saw, Lori, we have some NSTA collections that we built, and in many cases, it's actually on users' request. So we are here to help you and serve you and your students. So if you are working on particular areas of content and or pedagogy, and you like some help save you time to aggregate specific resources, just shoot us an email and we can do that. We have over 200 of those NSTA collections right now. Welcome, Tyler. We have over 200 of those NSTA collections now, and then users themselves are also making collections, aggregating resources, and also including their own productions or their own products into these collections and making them available for the larger community of the NSTA Learning Center. Thank you for your impressions and questions. So here are the benefits and costs. First of all, there are 2 price points, and professors choose the price point for the entire class. So if you're teaching EDU one-on-one, methods for teaching science in elementary school, and you have 10 students in your class, you'll be selecting either the $72 price point or the $99 price point for your students. Regardless of the price point, both options come with 1 year of NSTA membership. That is, by itself is a $39 value. So you can do the math there. For $33 on the $72 price point, your students have basically a 6-month period of time during which almost every single item in the Learning Center is free to them. And we'll define what the Learning Center subscription is here in a moment. Some professors, however, teach courses back-to-back, 2 semesters, or they have their course and then they have student teaching after that, and they elect, they make the choice for their students to go the $99 price point. So that's just an additional 6 months. It's a 1-year NSTA Learning Center subscription, still a 1-year NSTA membership. What are these 2 products? You know, remember, it's a class bundle. It has 2 products. NSTA membership, you may or may not be familiar with it. NSTA members have access to at least 1 journal. You pick 1 journal that is mailed to your home or office. You can register at conferences using or taking advantage of discount prices, including our virtual conference, of which we have at least 3 a year. There's a members-only listserv that, or listservs, I should say, that where members communicate and engage with each other, sharing resources and discussion. Enjoy discounts on all of our NSTA Press books, and finally, participating in governance and leadership opportunities. With regards to the subscription, which is perhaps the more obscure product, and as I mentioned earlier, and just for the benefit of Cindy and Tyler, who just joined us, a subscription cannot be purchased by individuals from NSTA. This is an exclusive opportunity where a subscription is awarded as part of this bundle. And so if you decide to go this route and use the NSTA resources and the Learning Center as your textbook, you're bringing to your students a product that they could not purchase themselves. So a subscription is basically giving the owner of the subscription access to behind-the-counter resources. SciPacks are content and pedagogical online modules, of which we have 25 on 25 different topics, and I will show the topics here in a minute. These SciPacks have an embedded assessment. They have access to a content mentor, etc., and they are $14 to members. So even with a membership, I still have to pay $14 out of my pocket, with my credit card every time that I want to buy one of these 25. So all 25 are covered within the subscription. The objects of score and the articles are included as well. Journal articles are over 7,000, and they go back several years. And then finally, with the ebook chapter collection of NSTA, where we have over 2,000, your students will be able to pick 15, their choice of 15 of these book chapters. These are priced typically around $4, so that does by themselves are a $60 price point if you put them together. I'm mentioning all these price points because I want you to be aware that this is an amazing opportunity, financially at least, for the students to pay a little bit and get access to a lot. And as I said before, as they're building their library during your course and taking advantage of this 6-month or 1-year period, they're building a library that they can access for life. So the resources that they place in their library, with the exception of the SciPacks, as done very well mentioned earlier, they have them for life. The book chapters, the articles, the objects, etc. Welcome, Logan. In addition to the resources for the students, for the individuals, we have these other perks that are part of the class, and in some ways the professor as well. A branded class landing page with the institution's banner, a class leaderboard where you'll see activity points that the NSTA Learning Center is keeping track of as your students work through the Learning Center, and those can be used for grading and or recognition of the work of the students. Access to pre and post assessments. We have assessment tools and items for all 25 of our topics in our SciPacks, and a class private forum. All that comes with the subscription, as well as a way for you to see how your students are using the Learning Center. Many professors use some of these stats for grading purposes. So I co-teach an elementary methods course at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County with Dr. Susan Blanc. So we have a number of activities and exercises that we use purposely, in the class to get both the students familiar with the Learning Center and to complete an end of semester assignment. And we take all those activity points, and those become part of their course grade. So we'll show you that, and you can see all of your students' work in that dashboard. I wanted to show real quick a SciPack graphic because it's probably one of the most obscure of the resources. The name is not necessarily intuitive. To us, we thought of it as a science pack or packet that includes content in the form of science objects, 3 to 5 of them. That includes access to a content mentor. This person or persons provide email support to those who own a SciPack. A science object that is exclusively part of the SciPack that deals with pedagogical implications, divided by or displayed by grade band. And finally, an embedded assessment that in many cases professors use as part of the final grade of the course. So professors who are trying to infuse content in their courses, life science, physical science, or earth and space science, they either allow their students to pick a SciPack or have them choose one that they like in a particular area, and then the grade becomes, how they do in the SciPack becomes part of how they do in the course. Here are the 25 topics for which we have SciPacks in the NSTA Learning Center, and that means we have assessment items for all these topics. So I'm coming close to my first stopping point from questions. When I meet with professors, some of the questions they ask are, the website is vast. How do I put my arms around it and use it effectively as part of my course? So we thought to help answer that question, to give you some ideas on how professors are using these, and then in the next slide I'll share this end of semester project that we do at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Professors, as I mentioned, some of them use SciPacks for content knowledge enhancement with their students. Some have the students find and read articles. Sometimes the professor is the one who selects the articles, and then they have discussions via the private forum, which is the class discussion area. Sometimes professors just want their students to build a library of resources that will help them in their life beyond the university. Within the NSTA journal articles, many of them have lesson plans, and sometimes the professors have that as an assignment. Look for lesson plans in this particular topic area, analyze them, look at them, share them with other class members, etc. The Learning Center has a learning plan tool that allows you to document your professional learning growth, and some professors use it as part of their courses. Book chapters are great for pedagogical topics, and also if you're looking at some of the latest three-dimensional learning and standards, NGSS, etc., that a number of states have adopted already. Using the public forums is a popular assignment where your students will have the opportunity to interact with classroom teachers and exchange ideas and questions, etc. And finally, a number of professors assign their students to participate and attend our webinars throughout the year for regular credit or extra credit. Now, in the past, we've done this seminar before, and I've shared this idea of this unit plan, which seems to be a fairly popular assignment as I meet with professors across the country. I'm a member also of the Association of Science Teacher Educators, ASTE, and have an opportunity to interact with your colleagues often. And so the unit plan idea, which for some professors is a substitute for, say, a final exam, seems to be a popular assignment where you could do it without the Learning Center, fine, as perhaps you're doing it now. Within the Learning Center, creating this learning or this unit plan is one way to use many of the different tools and expose the students to different areas of the Learning Center so that they might be more likely to return when they begin their profession as teachers. Selecting a unit plan topic, you can use the PD indexer, refresher content knowledge using SciPacks and other resources. Using the forums, the public forums, to talk with other teachers about those topics. Sharing the resources in my unit plan with my classmates by creating a collection and sharing that collection with my colleagues. While I'm doing that, I'm also reviewing and rating resources within the Learning Center to help others within the online community. Students seem to like this exercise or this assignment very much, even though it's time-consuming. But what they like about it is that at the end, when the students share all their unit plans with each other, the students are walking away with not just my own personal unit plan, but all the ones that my colleagues created. And so I come to my classroom as I graduate from the university with 7 or 8 units ready to be taught. So divide and conquer, right? And this is one activity, one exercise that basically uses most of the different aspects of the Learning Center. It can be easily integrated as part of your syllabus. So let me, I know there's been some conversation here on the chat on the left. I see the chat scrolling. I'm not reading, but I can see with the corner of my eye. So let me take some questions, Don.
Thanks, Flavio. Please, if you do have some questions, just type them into the chat. I'm going to go back to a question that Paul asked. Flavio, he said, at what level are the SciPacks? Do they contain content at a high school level, or are they geared more toward elementary level content?
Thank you, Don. Thanks, Paul, for the question. So the content in the SciPack is what all of us as educators and teachers of science should be familiar with in the areas of earth and space, life science, and physical science. The SciPacks don't have a particular level, so there's no SciPacks for elementary or for middle or for high school teachers. All teachers use or study the same SciPack. And then in the pedagogical implication, that's the area where if I'm a elementary school teacher, I would read the 3.5 or the K2 section of the pedagogical implication to adapt the content to my particular student level. So we actually have one SciPack for free, Paul. It's called the Electric and Magnetic Forces, which you can add to your library today and use it. But also do please take advantage, Paul, of the opportunity we're going to share with you and encourage you in a few minutes to create your own landing page, Paul, of your upcoming course. And by doing that, we then can give you access to all of the SciPacks, so you can open them, break the shrink wrap, and really, have that personal experience, so that you can make a better judgment as to, is this really worth or useful to my teachers. I know that what I can share is in-service teachers use these SciPacks as an option, right? To as they are looking to teach a new unit that maybe they haven't taught before, or maybe something they haven't taught in a while as a refresher course. It's an alternative to, say, going to the university and signing up for a master's degree class, or going to the local community college and taking a course for an entire semester, or even signing up with American Museum of Natural History and taking a 6-week online course. So it has a niche in the marketplace. It's roughly a 10-hour online self-paced experience, and so do explore them, and love to hear what your experience is with that.
And just before I get a couple more questions in here, I taught several NSTA courses using the SciPacks, and we had teachers at every level, elementary through high school, attending those online courses using the SciPack, and people found them very valuable no matter what level they were at. So Paul has another question. Do you have a copy of a unit plan created within the Learning Center as an example? And he also asks, can you customize the requirements for a unit plan?
Sure. So, I don't have them myself, but I'm happy to contact the professor and have the professor share some of those products with you, Paul. So I'm happy to do that. With regards to the requirements, yeah, I just mentioned that as an idea, as an example of how this one professor is using the Learning Center. She was looking for a project where students could basically be exposed to different aspects of the Learning Center, and again use it for a purpose. If we give the students the URL for the Learning Center, just tell them have at it without any kind of direction, that might not be the most effective way of using it. And at the end of the semester, they might come back to you and say, I'm not sure why we paid for this, right? I got the journal in the mail, that's great, but I'm not sure what was the purpose of this online repository and community. And so I think the more successful professors and the ones who continue using this method are the ones who are integrating the Learning Center as part of their courses. So when you teach a class and you want their students to have a discussion, you send them to the private forum with a writing prompt for them to maybe reflect on a particular area, from the lesson, or maybe have them search for an article and share it with each other, or talk to other teachers and bring what they're learning from other teachers to the classroom. Those kind of ways, think about how this tool can help enhance or supplement what you're already doing in your classroom at the university. Don, if it's okay with you, I'd like to move along.
Yes, please, Flavio. We don't have more questions, but just for the participants, as you have questions, please put them into the chat. I'll scoop them up for Flavio later.
Thank you, Don. So using the Learning Center as an online textbook, let's get started. So we see this as a very easy three-step. I know that Lori and Cindy have already created a landing page for their upcoming courses. Cindy is joining us from Alaska, and Lori is joining us from Hawaii. So we're covering most of the country here by having Lori and Cindy here joining us today. But we're going to ask the others who are here to create a landing page today, and it's really a fairly simple task. We're going to type this URL for you on the chat window here in a moment. It's learningcenter.nsta.org/group/manage. I'm saying that for Don as he's typing it on the chat window. Let me show you a few slides here before you click on it. When you get to that page, you're going to see the Create eTextbook button there at the bottom left corner. So we're going to ask you to click on that. And remember, there's zero risk and no commitment. You're not making any commitments by doing this. But what you get, though, is the opportunity to test drive the system. So we like you to imagine you are going to teach your class in the spring, and if you know the details, the course number, the course title, then use those, of course. But write in there your institution, state, course number, and title. Semester will be, perhaps spring 2018. And then as you scroll down the page, there's a place for you to write your name, your email address, your best guess of how many students you think you're going to have in class, 5, 10, 15. There's no small class. We've had class of 2, and we have classes of 50 or even more. So what is your guess for the number of people in the class? And then here you have the choice of either 6 months or 1 year. And you can make a decision now. You can change your decision later if you are committing and you want to rethink it. But you need to decide, obviously, before your first student pays for the bundle. So you have, I guess, up to the day before the first day of class. And finally, do you want a private forum? And I usually tell professors just say yes, because it doesn't add any cost, and it's better to have it and not use it than not to have it at all. And then just click save. This is all you need. These are the basics. All you need to create a landing page and basically give us the opportunity to add you to the class. We'll do that after the seminar has ended. Add you to the class basically, and by doing that, giving you a subscription to the NSTA Learning Center, so you can then explore, as I was mentioning to Paul earlier, explore the SciPacks, the book chapters, the articles, etc. Start getting a feel for how the system works. So take a moment. This really only takes about 2 or 3 minutes. So maybe Don maybe start a timer on 3 minutes, and let's get folks give some time to do that.
Okay, I've started the timer, and just please go through that. Remember, as Flavio said, you're making no commitments at this point, but you are giving yourself the opportunity to be able to test drive the entire Learning Center and see what all the resources are.
I'd like to answer Paul's question there. Paul is not sure about 6 months or a year. There's no option. There's no third option. So just pick one, Paul, and then you and I can be in touch via email when you have finally decided which way to go, and then I can make the change for you if a change is required. Paul also asks, what happens if I don't decide to use this? So I actually will be in touch. Everyone who creates a landing page, I'm in touch with them via email to see their progress and answer questions. And sometimes we even have one-on-one phone calls where we go over specific questions as you explore the site and are looking at the syllabus and how to integrate it. So at some point, yes, I will ask, so Paul, are you doing this? If you say no, then I take you off the landing page, and then whatever you added to your library you keep. I don't take that away, but at that point you lose your subscription. So take advantage of this now, explore this site, add some resources, open them up, etc. And we'll be in communication via email as to if you're not going to use it, then we'll just take you off the group and delete the landing page.
Okay, that little ding was indicating that 3 minutes is up. If you want to just finish up your last couple of steps there and then come on back to Blackboard, Flavio will continue with the discussion.
Thanks, Don. So I wanted to make a comment for, Paul wrote on the chat window about, there are other NSTA Press, obviously, products. And you're more than welcome. We would love for you to assign one of those books and have your students, go through them, etc. Remember, you have this option of 15 chapters, and so the idea is not to make a book chapter by chapter. That's not what we are, recommending, but rather have 2 or 3 chapters per book. So this option, imagine if you had a book and the Learning Center subscription. Again, I think the price is fairly competitive when you look at, professors share with me the cost of textbooks for methods courses, etc., from other publishers. They're in the hundreds of dollars, and sometimes it might be where you might be looking maybe at a combination, Paul, of an NSTA Press book and a class bundle here where there's membership included and access to the Learning Center, online community, the forums, etc. All these different perks we talked about, and that might be a beautiful combination. And you still have those 15 chapters where they could maybe pick 2 or 3 chapters for other, 3 to 5 books in addition to the book that you assign. So just consider that. That might be a nice way to combine things. So after the professor makes a landing page, what happens next? So typically, this time, today's December 12th. If you're looking at a course that begins about a month from now, what you might be doing is looking at your syllabus, looking at your different instructional units, and say, okay, let me look for reading material, related SciPacks, web seminar archives, maybe write a couple of, 2 or 3 writing prompts for discussions and reflection for the forums, etc., and start putting, basically mining the Learning Center and adding things to your library. Think of a grab bag, right? You're taking articles and chapters and science objects, etc., placing them all in your library, and then putting them in bundles called collections. A collection is something that you create in your own library within the NSTA Learning Center, and then you can share with your students. And so I see professors titling their collections EDU 101, week 1 of the course, and then there's 3 to 5 or however many resources within that collection. These are the resources that the professor would like their students to read and discuss and talk about and maybe test at a later time. So these collections allow you to put things in like bundles or like groupings and then share them with your students. These are electronic handouts. And what you'll see when as I share with you the library, maybe you did or did not have a chance to look at it, you'll see where collections are made, etc. And also the fact that you can add your own creations like your syllabus or any other white papers or articles that you have created yourself, author yourself. You can add them to your Learning Center library and then make them part of these collections that you're sharing with your students. And even external URLs you can add to your library and make those part of your Learning Center collections that your students have to explore, etc. One way that this is used quite a bit is with videos. So NSTA doesn't have a lot of video material showcasing exemplary delivery of science, etc. But there are other sites, maybe even other universities, other portals that have these videos, and most of them are free. So you may want to grab the URL of a video, put it in your library, add that to a collection, and that becomes part of a discussion in class. How do you explore or find resources in the Learning Center? Well, you go to Explore All Resources. That's our Google-like page. You can search by keyword, or you can search through collections from NSTA or from other users. When you add a resource to your library, this is what the library looks like. When you add a resource, they're all listed here within the table labeled Resources. To the right of the word Resources is the button Upload My Own. That is the button you click on to add the external URLs or your own creations, PowerPoint presentations, PDF files, images, Word docs, etc. And then right above it is the collections section. Collections were actually really designed in the Learning Center to help people organize their library. Because as you add things to your library, they all go in this long list that you can sort by title, you can sort by type, or you can sort by date. But you cannot put things together in things like, for example, force and motion, or 5Es, or NGSS resources, or standards, or inquiry, whatever it may be that you're looking to teach, safety, etc. You want to put all those articles and web seminar archives and things together. That's what a collection allows you to do, is to put things together in a theme or in a group that makes sense to you. It just so happens that you can also share the collections, and I think that's an added bonus, a very powerful added bonus, but nonetheless, it's a great thing. But initially, the collections were designed mainly for organizing the library. And so we did advertise with you that we were going to give you, walk away with collections, and it's easy to find them in the Learning Center search page. All the slides that you're seeing now are actually in a collection, and so if Don can place the collection URL on the chat window for this webinar today. So within that collection, you'll see the slides in PDF form. So this slide here, all those items are clickable links that will take you to the NSTA Learning Center, and you'll see a number of resources on each one of these areas, which we gather from professors are common topics that are taught in university classrooms across the country. Common core resources, diverse learners and efficient instruction, assessment, science safety, formative assessments, etc., 5Es. So take a look at those. That's kind of our gift to you. We did some work for you. You don't have to make those collections. They're already made. So you can use them in your courses, regardless if you use, this bundle idea or not. So, that's one thing, you should walk away with. If you choose not to require this opportunity for your students can still create a Learning Center account and use it as is. But you can't really find them easily, right? Find the students. What we have done here is the opportunity to cluster your students into a class so you're able to see their work easily. So I wanted to show you sort of the final product of a landing page creation. Here's a landing page for UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So you can see that we took out the NSTA branding. We placed the UMBC branding on the page. Their colors are black and red and white. You see the professor is the one who is logged in this example. Her name is Susan. And so you're seeing sort of the professor's view, which is very much like the student's view. But once you make the landing page, this button here changes in the Learning Center to, the label changes to Class Hub. That's your shortcut and your student's shortcut to a landing page within the Learning Center about your class. So let's imagine that I clicked on Class Hub. This is the Class Hub for the fall 2016 semester for the methods course at UMBC. This is the professor's view. So this section here is not seen by the students, and this button here is also not seen by the students. Those are professors only buttons, right? But everything else that you see on the page, the students see. Notice that the professor can basically tailor-made or customize the text on the page. So you can have your own welcome message, and you can change that anytime you like during the semester. As often as you desire, with announcements and recognition and giving people hey, good luck on the test, whatever they're doing. Imagine now that I click on the forums and user community button, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to show you that where the private forum would show up. So here's a private forum for that UMBC class, and it shows up right above the public forums. So you don't lose the public forums, but you get one more forum labeled private with your course name and number. And then, so I went back to the Class Hub, and now I'm going to click on Manage this cohort. And this is, again, professor-only button. And when you click on that, you get to see the stats. If your students are working on SciPacks, you can see when they're accessing the SciPack, how far along they're in the SciPack, percentage of completion. If they have worked on the final assessment, what grades do they get in the final assessment? Typically, students have 3 opportunities to pass the assessment. If additional opportunities are necessary or required, we can award those additional tries. You just tell us and we'll do it for you. You can see from the admin page how many times your students have made posts on the forums. You can see if they attended webinars, if they started learning plans. You can see if they've made reviews of resources, if they created collections, if they share their collections. All that is included, and so that's how then you can grade them, right? Because you'll have access to all this data that is only available to you if you use the Learning Center and the NSTA resources as your online textbook. Otherwise, you can use NSTA resources and a Learning Center, but you would not have, all this useful information to, help you with the course. We believe in iteration. The Learning Center it changes from time to time. We add new features. We test them with the audience, with the users, and if they don't seem to work, we take them out or we keep them. And so if you had used the Learning Center before, like Cindy, for example, she used it in the fall, we're always trying to make things better. We now have given professors the ability to pin topics within your own private forum. Pinning a topic means to leave a topic at the top. Maybe it's an important topic and you want to give students time to complete or respond to it. You now have that ability where it used to be only an NSTA admin only ability. You can now follow users, and this follow action means that users will be able to, if they're following you, they can very easily access your profile page from their own profile page. The profile page is the hub of all the public activity in the Learning Center. So it's a very powerful page, and it's, as we tell our students at UMBC, we recommend you do the same and tell all your students to follow you. That way they can get to your profile page very quickly. Every time you make a collection public, it shows up on your profile page. So that's one very easy way to deliver those collections to your students. How-to videos, we keep making more and of those, featuring some of the different Learning Center exercises and opportunities. We recently added new online advisors. These are helpers, volunteers, master teachers that use the Learning Center and then can also help answering questions of you and your students. And finally, this feature of having this ability to copy a course, this becomes very useful when you're using the Learning Center for the second time, right, in a semester, where you spend the first semester creating a course, your collections, etc., what you wrote, those fields that you wrote today to create the landing page. The next time you do that for the fall or the spring of 2019, you hit copy, and all your information gets pre-filled in the landing page very easily. And that was one of the requests from professors. I'm almost finished here. We have about 15 minutes, so we have a good time here for questions. We also believe in supporting you. Megan and myself, we answer questions via the help desk all the time, sometimes even on weekends. Sometimes we'll meet with professors at their own convenience, after hours, after 5 o'clock if we have to help you with your course. We also have professors who volunteered helping others. So we have a number of them who've used the system several semesters, and we can put you guys together. We can facilitate introductions if that's desired. Every semester we have 2 web seminars. We do them live, online of course, for the students, and it's a way for us to basically take the burden off you and spending class time to teach your students how to navigate the Learning Center. You can invite them to attend these seminars, and we'll show them how to navigate the center for you so that it doesn't take in your valuable class time. Those 2 seminars are coming up for the spring semester. on January 25 and then February 6. And these are repeat seminars. These are the same, just offered on 2 different weeknights so that students can pick the best night for them and attend. The seminars are recorded, so you can your students can also attend the seminars and watch them as an archive. So let's take a couple questions here, Don.
Well, I've got one, and if people have other questions, please type them into the chat now. Flavia, there's another question from Paul. He was interested in which are all NSTA Press books available for that chapter for the single chapters, and I checked on the book he was interested in, and all I could find was the overview available. Is that kind of the pattern, that certain chapters will be available with certain books and other books may have multiple chapters available?
Correct, Don. That's correct, Don. So the NSTA Press team makes those selections. When they publish a book, they decide if one chapter or more than one chapter, and if it's more than one, which chapters are offered and made available in the Learning Center. So as you, again, this time, and thank you for the question, this time that you have to explore the Learning Center without committing, it's a good time to explore and find, do they have the chapters that I'm looking for? Again, is this really a worthwhile investment that for me to require my students to pay on, or should we go a different route? So short answer is not all the chapters in all the books are available in the Learning Center. But I can also say that over 2,000 chapters are available in the Learning Center.
Okay, Cindy, or maybe you're working on a question. Any of the rest of you who have questions? Okay, Cindy says, so can we get 15 ebook chapters? Do we need to get those before students enter the hub?
Cindy, thank you for the question. The answer is not necessarily. So as a professor, you have a decision to make here. You may choose to say, I'm going to choose the 15 chapters for my students, and I'm going to tell them explicitly, these are the 15 chapters that I like you to add to your library because we have a limited quota, a ceiling, right, of 15 chapters. So yes, you can do that, and then as part of the the authority you have in your class to insist that they do so. Otherwise, you could also say something like, I'm going to choose 5 or 15 chapters that I like for us to focus on, and the other 10, just using an example, the other 10 you follow your own interests. Or the other extreme, right, the other option where you tell your students, you pick your 15 chapters that you like to use. You don't have to pick them in advance, Cindy. You can pick them in advance if you like to. So one of those buttons where you went to set up your landing page, there's a button there where you can select collections from your own library. So you make a collection in your library, and then you can pre-check a box in one of those steps, and when the student purchases the course, those collections are delivered automatically to their library. Some professors like that. I will admit that is really not a very popular option. Most professors like to deliver collections or resources to the students when they need them, so in a timely manner. So if I created a collection for week 3, I'm going to give it to them on week 2, the week before. Here it is. Not when the course started a month before, because it might get lost, they might forget about it, etc. So most professors deliver, like deliver medicine targeted, right, as is needed for the patient. Don?
Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions here, Flavio. Okay, Cindy says, is there a limit on the number of collections we can add for the students? And we need to do this before the students enter the hub, correct? Correct?
So thank you, Cindy, again. So Cindy's talking about when you were creating your landing page, we ask you for the purpose of the seminar tonight to only complete that first page. And Cindy's looking beyond that first page. I think there are 3 or 4 buttons that are there that are optional. And so she's looking at the third step, where when you go to that page, it actually has a listing of all the 200 plus NSTA collections that exist. And so as a professor, you can check the box of any one or all of those collections. So there's no limit, Cindy, as to how many you can select. And then those collections are delivered to the student's library at the point of purchase. And the reason why she's asking, do I need to do that before the course starts, is just because that is delivered at the point of purchase and all students are buying the product at different times. You want to make your final decisions. You want to choose your collections and be happy with your choices before the first student purchases the product. If you make changes, well, person 1 and person 2 are not going to have the same collections in their library. So that's why the idea of pre-selecting before the course starts is there. This is what I was saying, though, Cindy, that most professors don't go that route. They prefer to deliver or recommend or tell students to check the collections later on during the course as the course is being delivered. But again, you have the choice to do it at the beginning or during the semester. Okay, Don, well, I'm going to go ahead and continue. Thank you, Don.
Yes, please. Please.
Let's go ahead and continue. We have about 7 more minutes. Okay, so after this program ends tonight, we will approve your class landing page. Happy to do that. Add you to the course, basically, so that we were tricking the Learning Center into thinking that you have paid for a Learning Center subscription and you have the test drive abilities. And we'll send you an email letting you know that we have done that, and we'll also include in that email what we call the student instruction sheet. This is a 1-page document. We create it in Word so that if you want to edit the document, you can. But it has the 2 essential steps that students need to follow in order to acquire the products. The first instruction is to create a Learning Center account, and the second instruction is to go to a specific URL, which is written on the instruction sheet, to purchase using their credit card. The Learning Center already will know how much to charge, because Learning Center will look at your landing page setup, and if it says $72, if that was your choice, then that's how much the credit card will be charged. Otherwise, if you chose the $99 opportunity, then your students will be charged $99. So all those are connected. The creation of the landing page and the page where students go to purchase the product are connected that way. Happy to take additional questions, Don, if there are any. And also happy to set up one-on-one meetings with you via telephone if that's necessary. Those who are listening to this program as an archive, let me add here my email address to the chat window. Happy to set up meetings with you and go over this material to answer your questions. Don?
Certainly, if you have any other questions here, we've had some chances along, and we do have a question from Teresa. Changes, additions can be made to landing pages later and before the course. Is that correct?
That is correct, Teresa. The one thing that you can continue to do during the semester is that text, that welcome text on the page. You can change that anytime you want. But any of those setups, like selecting the private forum, what is going to be, how much my students are going to pay, $72 or $99, those two need to be selected and decided before the course begins. because again, obviously, if we make changes, then and students begin purchasing, then you have a mixed bag of students and mixed bag of price points within one group, which is not desirable. Other questions?
And Flavio, I'm going to ask you a question or something for clarification. Every year we seem to get a group of students or a small group of students who are not quite understanding the process, and they purchase their NSTA student membership separately and then go on. Do you want to offer any wisdom to the professors here about helping the students avoid that situation and understand that everything is bundled together?
Thank you, Don. Sure, I'm happy to do that. The instruction sheet is really the most important tool and the best way to address that. Don is correct. Students have heard about NSTA before, perhaps, or they hear the word membership, and they go on their own. They either lost the instruction sheet, or they set it aside and they said, I know how to do this on my own, or maybe they wait. Some students, we can see their purchases as they come in, and sometimes maybe a student it was not able to pay for the course in the textbook on the first week of class and had to wait, and maybe at that time their memory is blurred as to the steps. And so they go into the NSTA website and they purchase the individual NSTA membership. So with that, they don't have the Learning Center subscription. That means that the professor, you cannot see them on your class roster in the Learning Center. You don't see them in the admin area. And so you're going to wonder what happened here. Typically, those students, or sometimes the professors on behalf of the students, they come. They send us emails via the help desk, and we can help them, but the process is somewhat cumbersome. We have to refund the students for their membership expense, and then have them go back into the Learning Center and follow the correct instructions to purchase the class bundle. So it is true that we have a number of people. When you look at the fall semester for 2017, we had 1,700 students, over 60 institutions, universities, over 90 professors. So you're talking a significant number of people who are doing this every semester. And so, yes, we see maybe, out of 1,700, maybe about 15, 20 individuals who purchased the wrong product, and we have to help them one person at a time. I think bottom line, though, Don, and thank you for the question, is that we can help. We're here to help you. Don't sweat it. Don't stress as the professor. The student maybe made a mistake, didn't follow instructions. So I suggest taking that instruction sheet and actually delivering it on the first day of class, and maybe even embed it into your syllabus, and maybe even read it together, or at least highlight or underscore the importance of following the instructions as they are written on that instruction sheet to avoid any possible, difficulties. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Flavio. And I don't see any more questions coming up here, so I think maybe move on.
Okay, thanks. Well, I think we're about to finish up. The ASTE is meeting in a few weeks in Baltimore, Maryland. Megan and I will be there. If you're attending the meeting, if you're listening to this program as an archive and you're attending the meeting, we would love to meet you. We actually will have one of the tables in the exhibitor area. We'll also be doing a presentation about the same topic. So if you'd like to stop by, set up a landing page there, you have questions for us, etc. We look forward to meeting you in Baltimore in a few weeks. And with this, I'd like to thank you, Don, for your assistance, Megan, and the participants, and those who are watching as an archive. And we look forward to meeting you either via email or in person. Back to you, Don.
And thank you, Flavio, and please raise a glass to Flavio here. He always does such a wonderful job of explaining how this whole program works. And as he says, there are a lot of professors who've been going through this over the years, and you will actually have access to talking with some of those professors. So they're also really a great group of people. So thank you very much, Flavio, and thank you all for coming tonight. We will have an evaluation, so don't go away. I'd like to also thank NSTA for sponsoring today's program, and of course, as always, I'd like to thank the administration of NSTA for their support of web seminars. And I'm going to conclude the program right now and turn off the recording.